Hello learners, and welcome to today's lesson of addition and subtraction of common fractions. Let's start our lesson with a did you know? So did you know that common fractions are used to represent a part of a whole? For example, if one full pizza consists of 8 slices, but you only see 5 slices, it means that the pizza is incomplete. It is only 5/8 of the full pizza. There are 3 pieces missing, meaning that 3/8 have been eaten. The eaten pieces plus the current pieces, that is 3/8 plus 5/8, that gives us 8/8, which is 1 full pizza. So that means that 1 full can be shared into common fractions. Let's look at the lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, you must be able to simplify common fractions, add and subtract common fractions, change mixed fractions into improper fractions, and solve problems involving common fractions. The concept map for this lesson is going to focus on 3 areas. That is number 1, equivalent fractions and forms, where we are going to be looking at simplifying proper fractions, simplifying improper fractions, and changing mixed fractions to improper fractions. Then we are going to be looking at calculations with common fractions, where our focus here is going to be on addition and subtraction of common fractions and addition and subtraction of whole numbers with a common fraction. Then lastly, we are going to be looking at solving problems, where we are going to be solving problems in the context of multiple operations with common fractions. For this lesson, you must be able to, or you must know how to, find the lowest common multiple and the highest common factor. You must also know how to apply the properties of 1. Let's look at this in practice. Let's now find the highest common factor between 4 and 10. And to do that, I'm just going to write our numbers here as their prime factors. I hope you can remember how to do that. That is just breaking down these 2 numbers. So we know that 4 can be broken down into 2 multiplied by 2. And that will give us 4. And then when we look at the 10, that is going to be 5 multiplied by 2. How do we find the highest common factor? We are first of all going to now list the ones that are common, and the ones that are common between the factors of 2 and the factors of 4 and the factors of 10, it is the 2, right? And as we are going to look for those common ones, we are looking at the ones with the lowest frequency. So since as well the 2 here appears 2 times, and the 2 here only appears once, the one with the lowest frequency is just the 1, 2, and that is going to be our highest common factor. Let's look at finding the lowest common multiple between 4 and 2. Again, we're just going to write the 4 and the 2 as their prime factors. And if we remember how to find the lowest multiple between these 2, the lowest common multiple, we have to now, first of all, write down all the prime numbers that I can see, or all the factors that I can see. And that is my 2 and my 5, right? There are no other factors. And remember, we do not repeat factors. Then after that, we are going to look for the one with the highest frequency. Again, remember, the 2 appears 2 times here, and the 2 appears once. So what are we going to do? We are going to take the highest frequency, meaning I'm going to multiply with the 2 again, because it must appear here 2 times. And when we are looking at the 5 only appears once, so we are just going to also multiply by the 5 1 time only. And when we say 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 5, that answer is our, 20. Because 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, and then when we multiply that 4 with 5, that is going to give us 20. That means that the lowest common multiple here is 20. What about applying the properties of 1? So remember, if I have 3 divided by 1, remember, any number divided by 1 will remain that number. And 3 divided by 1 gives us 3, right? And negative 4 divided by 1, again, any number divided by 1 remains that number. So negative 4 divided by 1 will be negative 4. You must remember that because we are going to be using it in our lesson today. Let's look at the keywords and the language that we are going to be using during this lesson. So the first one there is a numerator. And a numerator is the number above the line of a common fraction. So for example, with 3/5, that is 3 divided by 5, or 3, and then there's a line, and then 5. We are talking about the number above the line. So that means that 3 is the numerator. The next one there is a denominator. That is the number below the line of a common fraction. So using the same common fraction as an example, we have there 3/5, and the 5 in this case is the denominator. Next, we're going to look at a proper fraction, and that is a fraction where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So for example, we have 3/5. As we can see, the one above the line, it is smaller than the one below the line. Then we have an improper fraction, a fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. For example, now we have 5/3. You can see that the number on top of the line, which we said is the numerator, that one is bigger than the denominator. Then we have mixed fraction. That is a number that consists of a whole number and a fraction. For example, we have 5 wholes and 1/2. So that is 5 1/2. Then we have equivalent fractions, fractions that have the same value. For example, 2/5 and 4/10, they have the same value. And then we have decimals. Those are numbers which consist of 2 parts, a whole number part and a fractional part. They are separated by a decimal point. So for example, with 2,57, the 5 and the 7 are the decimals. Let's quickly go to an ad break and then we'll see you just now.